Hi everyone. So in our last tutorial we have implemented the routing thing, right? And so now once we get login and once we are authenticated and press done, it takes us to the counter page or the landing page. But the problem is when you rerun the app, it doesn't actually persist the previous login. So in this tutorial we are gonna make it persistence for our authentication. And if you go through the code, you will see that we have the PB, the PocketBase instance, and if you check it out, this is a so this is not so this is actually creating every time a PocketBase instance, and we don't want that. We want a single instance to serve the purpose in all of our application. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna implement the dependency injection thing here. Okay, so that is called get it. So the dependency injection thing we are gonna implement so that we can manage a single instance throughout all of our app, towards the app cycle, right? So I will go to my powerspec.yml and see. Yeah, I already have the get it, but I didn't implement it in our project. So go to folder, core view app dot. Okay, so in the core we can have a new folder, new file, service locator dot, and inside that we can have a future void function. So in it services, yeah, we can name that. So async. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna create our get it instance, so like this one. Okay, so that will be final sl equal service locator. Let me see that. Okay, get it dot instance, get it dot instance. And that will be, it's very hard to talk and code. I'm not good at it. Anyway, so we have created our service locator instance. Now what we're gonna seek, yeah, await sl dot reset. First we are gonna reset everything before registering new object to this service locator. So just read the documentation and you will understand why we are resetting it. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna also implement register lazy singleton, and inside that, so this will be our PocketBase instance. So this will be PocketBase, and inside that what we're gonna do, PocketBase, and the page URL will be, environment dot import the environment value dot PocketBase URL. Okay, and also make it ready already. You will get it when you read the documentation. So what we're doing here, we are we'll be actually registering all of our dependency or all of our classes instance to service locator. And so before registering anything, we're gonna reset any previous installation instantiation we have in this. So that is called sl.reset. Then we are gonna register a new one, and then we are making it signaling that okay, everything is done. We have implemented our dependency and we have registered them here, and everything is okay. And so we're gonna call this thing in our bootstrap, inside bootstrap, where we are observing things before run app. Here we can make it init services. So now the service locator will implement the will lazily register the PocketBase. what we can do, as PocketBase is needed in everywhere, we can also create a PocketBase, make it PocketBase, a global variable. Then we're gonna do this. So a global variable PocketBase shortcut for us so that we can use it everywhere. Now, if we go to our app and route, okay. So while we're actually using the PB, we are gonna replace that with our PocketBase global variable. So we don't need that because we have already implemented through SL, the service locator. So inside here, we're gonna call the global variable that we have declared here. And as of now, this should be all right. So we're gonna close the app and rerun it and check if that is okay. Just give a little bit time and it will work. So let's see the console. Okay, it's starting. Let's see if that is working. Okay, so now the authentication is done, but still we have the problem that if we rerun the app, the persistence is not happening. So to implement the persistence thing, we need to go back to the PocketBase documentation. And if you go to the documentation, let's go to the .sdk site first. Okay. So if we search store, probably auth store. Okay, so the default, as you can see, you need to go to the .sdk and read the documentation fully to understand how PocketBase work and how the .sdk provides the implementation. But it also says that the default auth store is not persistence. So how we can make it persistence? That you need to assign the async auth store with your preference key. So all you have to do that you need to provide a auth store to PocketBase and PocketBase will handle the rest. Okay, so you need to have the shared preferences so that the value gets saved and persistence to the whole app lifecycle. Yeah, so okay, so let's see, we have the shared preference. Yeah, we already have the shared preference, but what I like to have that instead of see that preference dot set string, instead of this, I would like to have a preference util class for shared preference so that manages everything. So go back to the core and create another folder file. We should be preference util dot, and now we are gonna ask ChatGPT or our copilot generate a preference util class for shared preference for storing every primitive data types and also the list. Yeah, so let's see how it generates the code. I think it will generate almost everything we need as a helper class. So you see that it makes our life easier, set boolean, get boolean. So I need to accept that and you need to import it as well. Yeah, so integer is done, list is done. So JSON decode, we need to also implement this dependency as well. What? No, not that convert. That would be okay. Yeah, I understand. As JSON, but why it's not working? It says decode is not available. Fine. but I think decode, I have the decode, right? But why the a value of dynamic can't be assigned to variable type this dynamic? Okay, try changing the type of the variable. Okay, let's handle that later. We do not need it right away, so just handle it later. What does it say? Avoid boolean parameters. Okay, just don't worry about that right now. Okay, so we have the preference util, and now as per the documentation we need to implement the async auth store for PocketBase. So as we have implemented our preference util, we need to also initialize it, and we can do that using our bootstrap. Before init service we can also await preference utils.init. So it will initialize that. Okay, so now if we go to the PocketBase, and you see that it also takes another parameter which is auth store. So we're gonna do here async auth store as per the documentation. I'm not implementing or innovating anything. This is just plain simple thing that is written in the documentation. So just read the documentation, and it says that it will have save and something like that. Okay, so this will be data, and there is initial data as well. So initial, okay, and initial one would be something like that. So preference utils dot get string, is that so? Yeah, let's name it token, auth token. And the save one would be, so we need to also save the data we are getting. So it's the save functionality, right? So we're gonna say so make the key as auth data. So this will be our preference key, and we're gonna also save the data as set string data, and the value would be data. Okay, so this is the key, so auth data key, and the value is that. It says replace with, okay, we have replaced that. And you see that the hard-coded keys are not good, so we're gonna go to the preference utils file, and we're gonna make an enum class, enum prefs key. So this should be class, and auth data key. Okay, so auth data key, and we're gonna name it prefs key dot auth data key dot name, and same here, prefs key dot auth data key dot name, and we don't need the key again, so just rename it with auth data, because we already have the prefs key here. What it says, okay, 80 character limit. So that is done. So as per the documentation, we believe in documentation. So as per the documentation, now the auth store should persist according to app. So let's rerun it. So it's rerun or not. Just kill app and run it again. Okay, so we need to call ensure initialized, otherwise it will not work with shared preference. So go to bootstrap, and before doing everything we need to call that, kill it again and run it. Let's see if we're getting any new error. No, we're not getting any new error, and we have successfully logged in. Now once done, and if we rerun again, you see it's not working that way. Cause I think I understand it. Cause if you go to our router class, at it says that every time you have you are starting the app, you should go to land here. But only we need to redirect this to counter page or the landing page when the auth store have the authentication value. So we need to redirect that. So whenever we are starting our app, we will check if user has already logged in. If user has already logged in, we are not going to the onboarding page again, but we're going to go to the counter page because user have already logged in, and that is called the redirection, and our router provides that as well. So we are gonna do redirect logic here, and so if you go to the redirect, and it has a string context and state. So by default, if you return null, it will not redirect to anything. But what we're gonna achieve is that if user is logged in, so once the user is, if user is logged in, then value is true. Then we are gonna try to logged in. So then only we're gonna return our redirection logic as counter page .route.path. So the logic is if user logged in, we are gonna go to this page, and if user is not logged in, we are not redirect anything. So it will then follow our initial location here. So if we rerun the app, it should redirect us to counter page, even though we are having the location is onboarding page. Let's see if that it does. See that it's actually taking us to counter page. Now we need to figure out whether user is actually logged in or not. So based on our PocketBase documentation, if user is logged in, and as we have provided our async auth store logic, it will actually save the data, the authentication data, to PBO auth, and we can check whether that data is valid or not. So let's call that here PocketBase dot authstore dot is valid. So is valid indicates that logcheck if the kind auth store has valid auth data. So that is what we need here. So you can replace that with final. So if that is a logged in, we're gonna go to counter page. If is not, then we're gonna not redirect to anywhere. Now if we kill the app and rerun it, it should take us to the counter page because we have already logged in, and hopefully we have saved the data. See that it's actually taking us to counter page. Even we rerun again, it will definitely take us to the counter page because our auth store logic is valid. So we need to ensure that, and we need to make another button to log out the user and see that even taking us to the initial landing page when user is not logged in. So go to the counter page, and inside here we're gonna make another button let's call it logout, and the logout will be like PocketBase dot author dot invalid or clear. So I have read the documentation, that's why I know that we need to call the clear. So it actually says that clears the previously stored token and record and everything. So once we once we do that, it will actually clear everything. So then when we are gonna run the app, it should not take us to counter page again, as the auth store data is invalid. So it should take us to the onboarding page. So again, kill the app, run it again. So just need a little bit spacing here. Okay, not here, but here. So we press the log out button and it should clear the auth stored data. So now if we read on the app, it should take us to onboarding page. And if we again read on the app, it should always take us to onboarding page. As you can see, now if we log in, the log authentication is done. And if we read on again, it should always take us to the counter page. See that even we kill the app and rerun it again, it will take us to the counter page. So that's it. This is our redirection implementation, and this is our persisting the authentication value with service locator and the shared preference. So in the next tutorial, we're gonna learn how we can make the logout button click, and it will automatically redirect us to the onboarding page. So in the next tutorial, we're gonna learn that. So till then, have a great day.